Good morning! Welcome back to another video. What day is it? I don't know. I've lost track of time. Anyway, I'm in London currently. I've been here since 7:15, packed up. And it turns out I didn't need to be here till 12. So I've got a bit of time. Right. It's the interviews, part 2. Episode 2, whatever. And this one is going to be John. Now we all know John. John is Tall Man, Small Van, or TMSV Services. And I've asked him a couple of questions and he sent me some replies, so let's crack on. Question 1. What's the worst and what's your favourite thing about being a courier?
Thanks for asking me on this one, James. I will say there might be a bit of a continuity error before we start with these videos because I will be probably recording them at different times. So, the first question is, favourite and worst things about being a courier driver? Worst one, easy one really, traffic by far and away. There are a few others which are a bit annoying, which is, you know, dealing with grumpy, disgruntled people, but I mean, at the end of the day, you get that in any job really. With regards to the favourite thing, the way that I run it, running pretty much entirely on CX, I love the freedom of it. I love the ability to be able to pick and choose my jobs, pick and choose my hours. I love the ability to be able to go wherever I want when I want, which doesn't always work in my favour sometimes, but it's an adventure. I like that I've got, in theory, an unlimited earning ability. And I just love, I just love the freedom and flexibility of it, really.
Traffic, of course. I think it's everyone's pet peeve, traffic. I don't think I know a single person that likes sitting there. You can sit there for hours. Who wants to do that? Who wants to be waiting around for hours? And obviously, grumpy people, you're going to find grumpy people in every industry you do. Not just driving like we do. And obviously, freedom. Be your own boss. You're self-employed. You can do what you want. You work when you want. You take the jobs where you want. You go on an adventure. You can see this entire country that we live in. I bet there's a lot of people out there that have lived in the UK their entire lives and haven't even seen the majority of it. Whereas couriers, we go everywhere. So you get to see everywhere, and you get to, if you're self-employed and you're not in a rush, you get to get out of the van, have a walk round, and get to actually experience some places. So that's fantastic. Thanks for that, John. Question number 2. Why did you choose the courier life in the first place?
So I chose the courier life because I'd always liked driving. I'd been in a job previously where I was a field engineer, an IT field engineer, going up and down the country fixing things. And it was getting to a point where I was enjoying the driving side of aspects of it more than the actual job. So I figured, why don't I do a job driving? I then quit that. I took a few jobs doing sort of agency work, doing driving work just to get a feel for it, doing multi-drop stuff. Wasn't a massive fan of that. And then I came into some money and I decided to join CX. So I punted out. I initially had a van, which I bought to do a camper conversion in, but I decided that it wasn't suitable because it was too old. So I swapped it for a smaller van, which was my partner, which was my first van. And yeah, I loved it. I was kind of hooked from that point on, really. And I don't regret any decisions that I've made, really. I still enjoy my time on here now, really.
Driving. Obviously, if you enjoy driving, then you're going to love the job, aren't you? And I think agency and multi-drop, like you did, John, is a good way to start in the industry. It's a way to get your teeth in. I didn't do it personally. I don't think I'll ever do multi-drop. But that's a way a lot of people get into this industry. They start off as a multi-drop driver, or they start off as an agency driver, or they even start off as a HGV driver and want to move back down. And I'm really glad you don't regret anything you've done, pal. Now, I think since I've been watching your videos, you had the Fiat Doblo with the high roof, and then you went to the Mercedes Vito recently, which was no good and kept breaking down, and you've gone back to a Fiat Doblo. So why do you like the Fiat Doblo so much? And what is your rough running costs on that Doblo?
So I choose a Fiat Doblo mainly because I like it as a van. It's, well, mainly because it's simple. that's the main reason why I choose it. It's really, really simple, and this could be famous last words, but there's really not that much on it to go wrong. This particular one I'm in is a newer one, so it's got a Euro 6 engine in it, but it doesn't use AdBlue, so that's one less thing to go wrong. It's really not that electronically complicated. These vans have been in production since 2010, and I like to think that the longer that a vehicle is in production, the more sort of refined they get at making it, so that's another reason why I choose it. I like the cabin in it. The cabin's really light and airy for a small van. The particular one I've got is the Maxi, which is the L2. They've got a really good payload. They've got the best payload, I think, out of all small vans. My one can take about 800 kilos in with me in there as well, and I'm a big old lump, as you know. I'm like 120 kilos. And yeah, I mean, the seats are comfy for me. I've got an armrest, which I don't get in other small vans. I know the layout of it, and yeah, it's just really good. With regards to the running costs, I'm not going to lie, I haven't really worked them out. But I will say that I get about 53 mpg combined, something like that, and I usually get about 500 to 600 miles out of a tank, generally speaking, depending upon where I'm driving, the type of driving style that I do. So yeah, that's kind of the range I'm working on.
Thanks for that, John. I think the only small van I've ever driven was a Renault Kangoo, and I didn't like the handbrake because it wasn't like straight like an Alma handbrake. It was like I don't know how to describe it. It was that way, actually, you know, like did that instead of doing that, and I always couldn't figure it out, and I kept forgetting to put it on. I didn't drive that for very long though. So your Doblo, simple van. If you put too many electrics in a van, that's when things start going wrong. That's when your ECU starts going. That's when something gets fried and nothing works properly. And you don't need that. A nice simple van is all you need. And comfy. You need a comfy van. At the end of the day, like, you're going to be sat in it for hours and hours on end. You need to be comfortable. You can't be sat there uncomfy all day. Like, I've driven a couple of Transits, and I find Transits really, really uncomfortable. And obviously 53 mpg combined, that is very good. I'm in a long wheelbase, obviously, and I think I get anywhere between 29 and 42 depending on driving, load, and if I'm going downhill. Right, so next question. What's your future plans for TMSV services? Are you going to get a bigger van? Are you going to get more vans?
Future plans for the business? I don't know. I've thought about multiple directions going. Initially, when I started up, I did think about going into doing vehicle removals and stuff like that by myself, a 4x4 and a trailer, but there's a few legal loopholes in that which I would have to overcome should I wish to adhere to the rules properly, which I do want to, because I'm that type of guy. Yeah, I have thought about getting other small vans as well, running a fleet of small vans, because I do like small vans. I have also thought about getting a Luton curtain sider to run alongside this, and then I can run sort of both ends of the 3.5 ton market. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, at the minute I am only one man, and I like being one man because I like the easiness of it. When you expand, there's complexities which are put in, obviously, and I'm not sure whether I'm at that stage yet to be able to want to do that. Maybe if I'm still doing this in a few years, then maybe think about it, but we'll see. There's a lot of possibilities, and the good thing is about doing this sort of thing is it allows you to network with people, it allows you to make connections with people, and if you decide that you do want to go on to form connections and form business relationships with certain people, then you can do that, obviously. So yeah, as of yet, I have a few ideas, but me being me, whether those will actually materialise or not is another matter, so I don't entirely know.
Thanks for that, John. I'm sure you'll figure it out at some point what you want to do. If you do want to expand, get a Luton curtain, as you said, or maybe some more small vans. Well, you are right. It is a lot easier just to do it on your own. You don't have the faff of having to pay other drivers or having other vans to maintain and insure. But it's all up to you how you want to do it at the end of the day. If you want to be a lone man for the foreseeable, do you. And yeah, when it comes to moving vehicles, I don't really know the ins and outs of it, because a couple of people said it's different moving vehicles to moving goods, and I've looked into moving goods, and you need an old license and everything for your trailer, and obviously to move into tachographs and all that. So I don't know if it's the same with moving cars, but I've been told been commented on other videos that it's different for moving vehicles, but I'm not sure the exact way to do it. Right, next question. What made you start a YouTube channel? I started mine to try and help people and to document the progress of the company, and obviously now I'm just going to interview people as well. So what made you start yours?
So I started a YouTube channel because I really wanted to document what I was doing, and I also wanted to kind of help other people. I want to give a massive shout out to Neil at Neptune Couriers and also Pete the Courier, who are two major influences in me starting a YouTube channel. I spoke to both, particularly Neil, before I started a YouTube channel, and I've formed quite a close bond and friendship now with Neil. Obviously I talked to a lot of other guys as well, but I think Neil was the main catalyst, who was the one who kind of gave me a kick up the arse when I suggested that I wanted to do a YouTube channel. So big shout out to him. And I love the fact that I really do love the fact that I have started a YouTube channel, because it's allowed me to make connections now with people that I wouldn't have ordinarily done. We now, speak regularly on the phone to each other. I've met up with a few of you guys, and I want to meet up with some more. Yeah, it's just allowed me to explore a side of the social side of things, which I wouldn't ordinarily get. This is a very antisocial job. You're on your own for long hours, and any kind of social interaction you get is a bonus. So yeah, there's that. Also, another thing which I think Anvil Logistics mentioned, Dave, was the fact that this YouTube has allowed me to do a little bit of networking. It has allowed me to make contacts with certain shippers who watch my videos, who have actually passed me work directly through watching my videos. So again, there's that aspect to it as well. So it's not purely a social thing. Social media can is used for business connections nowadays. So yeah, I can see there's multiple benefits of it as well. And anybody out there who's watching this, who's thinking about starting a YouTube channel, who does this type of work, or wants to start a YouTube channel for any reason, I would definitely say do it. And don't be put off by the fact that you think that other people are doing it and the market's flooded, because at the end of the day, people want to watch the content and people find it interesting. Yeah, so get some confidence behind you. You don't even need much equipment to do it. I just use my phone at the end of the day. You don't even need to edit necessarily. So if you want to do it, do it. You only live once. Don't talk yourself out of it.
But yeah, that's exactly what I just said. Document and help. And yeah, as you said, a big shout out to Neil at Neptune B2B Couriers, and obviously Pete the Courier. And there's plenty more. Big Beardy, Anvil now, and Saints Man, obviously, can't forget about him. Andy P. There was plenty of others. There's got some people that have started it and disappeared. There's new people coming along all the time. Furky and Freight, Northants Couriers. There's plenty more. There's plenty of small channels out there that I keep discovering and keep subscribing to. And yeah, if you do want to do this, do it. Just I had to get a big push off Leanne to do this. This is something I always wanted to do, like make YouTube videos and stuff. And she gave me the confidence to do it, because all I'm doing basically is talking to my phone, talking to myself. Like, I don't watch the videos back. I edit them slightly and post them. I don't really watch them back. So just do it. Just all you gotta do is talk. Like, talk about something you want to talk about, something you're passionate about, your job, your life, something you do. Just talk and you can make YouTube videos. It's really easy. yeah, also, as you said, it makes an antisocial job of driving around social, because you meet new people through YouTube and making the videos. Like, you get to talk to a lot of people, and you get to network with a lot of people. Like, personally, I saw Anvil Dave, realised that he wasn't that far away from me, wise. He was down the road, pretty much. And that's how I started using Anvil, well, Dave at Anvil, to do some of my work, because he seemed like a nice, reliable, happy guy. And when I met up with him, the first job we did together, it was a 2-van job. I met up with him, we were having a chat, and I've used him ever since, whenever I can. I've used Neil. I used Neil before I used Dave, and that's because I found him on YouTube. I knew that he was based up in Scotland. I had a Scotland job, which was pretty awkward, going to an island. So I got in touch with him, and he did the job. It was brilliant. And yeah, as John said, you don't need much to start a YouTube channel. Use your phone. My iPhone's recording all of this. My iPhone edits all of this. And my iPhone puts it all on YouTube for me. So it's pretty simple. Use iPhone, Android, whatever phone you can use. Or you can use a professional camera if you want to use a professional camera. That's up to you. Right, John, you're based in Telford. I can't see Telford being that easy of an area to move in and out of. What's it like getting jobs in and out of Telford on the CX?
So Telford's a bit of a funny area because Van on the Run's mentioned it before. It's sort of removed from the rest of the West Midlands. It is a bit kind of too far west, really. I do all right out of it because there's only about 10 other drivers who are registered in Telford, and I think I'm the only small van driver in the whole of Telford. So I do okay with it. There's not a lot of jobs post out there, but it's law of averages, in the sense of if I'm the only small van driver there, then and there's one job posted, then I've got a good chance of getting it. Do you know what I mean? Unless it's going to an area that other parts of the country and other people want to go to. But Van on the Run mentioned it in his videos, where he thinks that there's more work, there's more jobs posted out of Telford and the surrounding areas than there is drivers to fulfil them, and that is true, really. And that goes for that whole area of sort of Telford going down towards the Welsh borders, up towards Wrexham and that sort of area, really. That sort of 40-mile radius, I don't genuinely think, even though there's not a huge amount of jobs posted out there, don't get me wrong, but I think there is generally more work that's posted out of those areas than there is drivers to fulfil them. So if you are in that sort of area and you're thinking about joining CX, then go for it. Why not? If you're in any area, go for it. Some areas are harder to get out of than others, don't get me wrong, but if you try and make connections with local shippers, or if you're prepared to tramp or stay out most of the week, you can make a go of running on CX in most areas, in my opinion. It all depends on your personal circumstances and what you're willing to put into it. With regards to getting back, it's very, very rare that I will get a job straight back to Telford. Very rare. I've done over 400 jobs now on CX, and I think I can probably count on 2 hands the amount of times that I've actually got to run directly back to Telford from anywhere else in the country. So I count really any jobs within a 35-mile radius, 40-mile radius of where I live to be a bonus, and that's good because that brings in Birmingham, Stoke-on-Trent, areas of Cheshire, areas of North Wales, areas in Black Country and Staffordshire, which are all good areas for working on CX, and I can generally get a backload too. So yeah, so I'm happy with that, really. All in all, it's not a bad area to be based out of, really. There's worse areas, and the good thing is as well, when we talk about good and bad areas on CX, what you've got to think about if you're based in a good area, i.e. a major city, is yes, there's lots of work, but there's also lots of competition. So sometimes it can work in your favour to be based in an area that's less busy because you also have less competition, and that's where I benefit.
Yeah, I think you're right, pal. It is a bit too far west than the rest of the Midlands to get that Midlands affluent area jobs sort of thing. But if you are the only small van in the area, like you said, there's a good chance you are going to get them small van jobs, because you can quote cheaper than the big guys that are sat there with their big vans or Lutons that are struggling to find the work. But as you also mentioned, every area you can find working? Well, it depends. Like, if you're willing to move about and take a couple of dead miles here and there, you can always move 10-15 minutes down the road into a much better area for yourself, and then you'll be closer to the work, or you get like a slightly different radius, so you might catch work that's a bit further away. Yeah, obviously if you are going to be set up in a difficult area like Telford or somewhere where there's not a lot of work coming out, you do also need to speak to your local shippers, because there will be companies in your area. Just go and speak to them, say you're available, and you never know, they might be phoning you every day to see what you can do for them. And you mentioned Van on the Run a few times there. I wonder how he's doing. Do you reckon he's driving a HGV now? I hope so, because that's what he wanted to do. All right, last question. What's your advice to a new driver?
My advice to a new driver would be to put your name out there and talk to people. That's the main thing. I would, before you invest anything, before you think about buying a van, before you think about joining CX, before you put any money down, join some social media groups, talk to people on YouTube and other social media platforms, do some research about shippers in your local area, ring them up and talk to them and make connections, because you can make you can make these connections before you've even started. What you don't want to do is you don't want to put money in, take loans out, etc. to buy a van, and then realise that you can't do any work or anything like that. So talk to people, network, get your name out there, put the effort in, and also think about how you want to run on CX as well, and think about what's viable for you. I've talked about this before. Talk to experienced drivers. Think about how you want to run. It's very important to think about strategies when running on CX. So think about, and that's another aspect that I like of the job as well, which I probably didn't mention earlier. It's quite strategic, and I quite like that. So think about the areas that you go into, the areas that you're coming from. Think about if you want to stop out. Think about the costs involved if you do stop out. Think about if you want to tramp. Do you want to tramp all week? Do you want to come home? Do you want to come home every night? And all of these features will decide where you want to go in terms of the jobs that you want to take, the pricing of them, etc., stuff like that. It's a massive learning curve, and really you can only learn on the job. But what you can do beforehand is you can try and speak to people who are experienced in it, get some advice, and make sure it's worth your while before you even set out or put any outlay in the business at all. Anyway, I want to say thank you for your questions, James. Appreciate it, mate, and good luck with your channel. Take care.
Some cracking advice there, John. Get on social media, get on some of the groups, watch some YouTube videos, like see what's actually happening out there on the CX in your area or in different areas where you might be, and like be prepared. Teach yourself. Like, don't just jump straight in it, buy a van and finance it, as John said. Actually do some preparation, look around, speak to people before you even jump into everything. Speak to other speak to shippers, speak to companies, speak to us guys who are trying to help everyone. Speak to whoever you need to. And John, you're welcome. Thank you for answering my questions. I know they're a bit basic, and I'll come back to you and interview you again, hopefully in person at some point, with some more difficult, in-depth questions for you. Your channel's doing really well as well, mate. You're nearly on 400 subscribers. Keep it up, and you'll overtake Anvil Dave, who's just shot above everyone, thanks to his good friend in America that's made a weird video for him. Not weird, it was very good. Yeah, so thank you very much, John, for that. I do have a couple more of these coming out. I do hope these help you guys out there that might be watching them and might need this information before you start, or as you're going along, or if you want to start YouTube, or you want to start being a courier, you want to be on the Courier exchange, or you're thinking about buying a Fiat Doblo maybe. Just think about what John said, and then think about what Anvil said, and then we'll do some more interviews as well, and hopefully we'll give you all the information you need before starting as a courier or if you're already a courier, if you need the information because you're struggling. Thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye bye.